Welcome everybody to Common Sense Christianity. As always, I'm your host Ethan Foster here today with another episode. Guys, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. You know the rules. Go look at all our platforms. If you want to go to our website, cscpodcast.org. Go visit that out and help spread the word of our podcast and help us continue to grow, guys. We appreciate everything that you have done to help us out, to help spread the word. And we just want to thank God, number one, for everything that He has done and everything that He is going to do. Our verse of the day comes from Exodus 6:30, but Moses said to the Lord, "Since I speak with flattering lips, why would Pharaoh listen to me?" And you know what? Giving you some background on this, Moses was afraid. I believe, I didn't study this, I just literally pulled it up in the past 10 seconds. But to give you a bit of background from my best memory, Moses was worried that Pharaoh wouldn't listen to him because he's bad at talking, essentially. But remember to always trust in God, always trust in His plan, always trust that He will help you in the trials and the circumstances that He puts upon you. So our topic for today, we are talking about the Supreme Court's recent decisions on the whole abortion case and the LGBTQ rights. And I pull it up from both left-leaning sources so I can help balance out the bias that I might present. And the first comes from NPR. It says the Supreme Court delivers major victory to LGBTQ employees. And it says, in a historic decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Monday that the 1964 Civil Rights Act protects gay, lesbian, and transgender employees from discrimination based on sex. The ruling was 6-3, with Justice Neil Gorsuch, President Trump's first appointee to the court, running the majority opinion. The opinion was joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and the court's 4 liberal justices. Today, Gorsuch said, "We must decide whether an employer can fire someone simply for being homosexual or transgender. The answer is clear. He found such discrimination is barred by the language of the 1964 law that bans discrimination in employment based on race, religion, national origin, or sex. The decision is a huge victory for LGBTQ community and a major loss for the Trump administration, which has sided with employers in 3 cases before the court. 2 involved employees who sued after contending they had been fired because they were gay. One of them, Gerald Bostock, won awards for his work as a child welfare coordinator for Clayton County, Georgia, and blah, blah, blah. It gives them their background. So my opinion on this is basically, I think it was mostly a good decision. I know many of you might be surprised. In terms of legal status, no, you cannot discriminate against someone just because they are gay, just because they are black or white or whatever. And that is completely illegal. If you're a public business, or even a private business, I would argue, you cannot discriminate based on someone's personal lifestyle. Because you cannot limit that. If you can discriminate against someone for being homosexual, then you can also argue you can discriminate against someone because they're black. And of course, no one would agree with that, but some Christians would argue that you can fire someone because they're homosexual or refuse service because of your religious beliefs. And it's a very complicated issue that I stand middle ground on because I try and understand both sides of the argument. I do think that you should be able to have freedom of association, but it needs to, as long as you have a private owned business. If it's a public owned business, then you have to serve whoever comes to your store, basically. So that's my opinion on it. Now, again, being homosexual is a sin in the Bible, but we must remember that we ought to love everyone with Christ's love equally, no matter what they believe and no matter how they think or what their personal lifestyle choices are. Moving on to, and this comes from NBC News, the Supreme Court in 5-4 ruling strikes down restrictive Louisiana abortion law. The measure would have required doctors who provide abortions to have admitting privileges at hospitals within 30 miles of a clinic. It says the Supreme Court ruled Monday that Louisiana's tough restriction on abortions violates the Constitution. Let's just stop there. Where in the Constitution does it say that people have the right to abortion. That's my only point right there. Continuing on, the surprising victory for abortion rights advocates from an increasingly conservative court. The 5-4 decision in which Chief Justice John Roberts joined with the court's 4 more liberal justices struck down a law passed by the Louisiana legislature in 2014 that required any doctor offering abortion services that have admitting privileges at a hospital within 30 miles. Its enforcement would have been blocked by a protracted legal battle. 2 Louisiana doctors and medical clinic sued to get the law overturned. They said it would leave only 1 doctor at a single clinic to provide services for nearly 10,000 women who seek abortions in the state each year. Which, of course, as a pro-life person, I would totally agree with this because it restricts the ability to kill the child. Continuing on, the challenges said that the requirement was identical to a Texas law the Supreme Court struck down in 2016 with the vote of then Justice Anthony Kennedy. The court ruled that Texas imposed an obstacle on women seeking access to abortion services. Well, obviously, we all know this, without providing any medical benefits. Kennedy was succeeded by the more conservative Brett Kavanaugh, appointed by President Donald Trump, who was among the 4 dissenters Monday. So this is interesting. I don't do background research on this stuff. I really should, but honestly, it gives more of a open and honest opinion based on what has just been presented to me. I've heard of this. I've listened to conservative perspectives on this. And I just form my own opinion right here. I'm totally against abortion for just convenient purposes. I am for abortion if you're raped or if you have or if there's severe medical difficulties regarding either the child's health or the mother's or both. But that's the only place I'm for it. So any law or Supreme Court precedent that is set that is not in those terms, I disagree with. So, of course, I disagree with this. But many Christians and many conservatives in particular are very angry at this. And I want to remind you guys that we must always trust in God to do His will. His will always be done. So whatever happens, we need to trust in God. We shall not be angry, we shall not be fearful, and we shall not... I don't even know. I think I just described my feelings on it right there. We need to make sure we trust God in every situation that happens in this country. Whether it's the election, whether it's the coronavirus, whether it's the political issues going on, we need to trust in God to do what is right for us and for His people and for the world in general. Stay in prayer, guys. Stay safe. God bless you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for listening to this episode. Go to cscpodcast.org and just check out the stuff we have on there. We're continuing and writing the book. Hopefully I'll be done by the end of the summer, but who knows? Lord willing, I'll be done. And until next time, I'm Ethan Foster here with Common Sense Christianity.